Hey everybody, we made it to yet another week. Happy Wednesday. I'm so excited to be here for another live stream. Today we are going to do Selena Gomez. I thought this was a really cool picture. I thought it would be a great learning tool for everyone. Let me very quickly go to our live chat viewer here. I'm just going to make this small. And it's going to take me a few moments. I'm just going to go ahead so I can see you guys talking. Hopefully there's a lot of people here so we can get a great discussion about art together. So let's see. We are going to go authorize this as we do every week. And it'll just be one quick moment. I just want to make sure that I'm off camera so I'm not showing everyone in the world my password. Okay, so it's just going to be real quick. Weather's getting warmer. Spring is coming. How do you guys feel about spring? I've got mixed feelings about it. Hay fever and all that stuff. So that's why I'm juicing like a maniac. So I'm almost there. And then I'll be able to see you guys in 3, 2, 1. There you are. Oh, great. We have Paris. How you doing, Paris? Great to see you. We have Willie, and let's see, Alex, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming by, guys. So I really appreciate that. Let me remove this banner here, see if that works. Okay, great. So now we look like we're in good. Hey, how you doing? What's going on, man? Good to see you, Alan. Exoneration. So I really appreciate that a lot. Thank you for stopping by. I know you're doing your music as well. Raul, good to see you. How's everything? So we have a real healthy group already. So that's very exciting. And I thank you guys so much for that. I have my water here. And we are going to try and have a really good live stream. So we're going to start by going in with the white. Try and get some of those highlights and sort of push the face forward from the gray of the paper. And then after that, we're going to go in with the India ink. And I'll show you, I changed my mixture a little bit for the initial application. So we're going to go over that. I have some other tips that I just pretty much meted out over the course of the week that is going to be great to share with you guys. So let's see. So, hey, buddy, good to see you. How are you, man? So thank you so much for coming by. So, buddy, this is the first time I believe he's here. He does some amazing work. So it's great to see you, buddy. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate that. And so this is so cool. So now that we are here, we have the different cameras. So I put this camera here because I thought maybe it would be good to see like the distance that we're using from the surface. So I kind of like this angle. If you guys want to see a different angle, you just let me know and I'll be more than happy to change it. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some of the white, and I want to do that first. So of course we have the airbrush I'll be working with, which is the Extreme Patriot Arrow. This is just my workhorse. This is what I use 90% of the time. Really tight detail. I'll go in with my Sotar 2020 Slim. That's amazing. So what I'm doing is I'm going to get the other airbrush. And for the white, what we're going to use the Renegade Velocity, which is also by Badger. It's a very good all-purpose airbrush. So I have a Quick Connect that I just purchased. This Quick Connect is by Masters, and that actually connects to your hose. And this was only $8, so that's pretty cool. So we're just going to add that in, make sure everything's working correctly. We're going to adjust the air, and let's go ahead and mix the white. The white is very important. This is going to be the initial, when I work on tinted paper or tinted surfaces, I want to start with the white, because when you go over you go over a darker color with white, it gets really weird. So we're going to go ahead and do our whites right away. So let me go ahead and get a mixing cup. It'll just be one quick moment, guys. Now these cups right here are from Walmart, and you can get them like maybe $3, which is really fantastic. So I highly recommend them. They come with little lids, so definitely. So remember, whenever we're going to mix ink, we're always going to take our artwork and move it aside. No disasters. Best way to avoid disaster is not be there. So guys, how is the sound and everything? Sound quality good? Picture quality good? Let me know when you get a chance. So what we're really looking for is a consistency of skim milk. So there's no real formula here. So we're going to take our larger eyedropper here, and we are just going to move it around until it actually feels like skim milk. Not regular milk, but skim milk. And that's very important. Okay, so I think we're good. Now what we're going to do, which is also very important, is we are going to test out the ink on a test piece of paper, but the same paper that we're using, so we see exactly what it's going to do. So with that being said, let's go ahead and load this airbrush here. And then we're going to put the cap on. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are just going to test it. See, we have a good flow. Now, one thing with the white that you're going to find out is that with the white, you'll put it down, you won't see it until after it dries. So don't keep going over it and say, then it's too late, then you overdid it. And that's, Raul, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So Raul says that all the sound and video is good. So, all right, so I'm happy with the way the velocity is spraying. I'm going to move this over here. And let's get down to the business of putting in the white. Now, this is a tricky thing, because one of the things with the white, guys, that you have to really watch out for is that it does not erase. Once it's on top of the pencil lines will not erase, or you'll have a very hard time. So you want to make sure that you prepare the surface of where you're going to put the white, okay? Especially like right here. You know, where the eyelids and everything, you can do that with the white pastel. So, you know, like real small areas. But I'm talking about the large areas. Those are the areas that you're really going to have to really concentrate on. All right, so the cap is on. So that really helps. And we already know that it's spraying well. Just one last test. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and spray where the light in the portrait is lighter than the background. That's going to push everything forward. So if you guys are here, give me a, Jake, how you doing? If you guys are here, give me a shout out, hit that like button. Also hit that bell icon, guys, because this way you'll be alerted for the next one that comes. You won't miss it. Hey, Wendy, good to see you. How are you? How you feeling? Oh boy, that's horrible. It would not let you connect, Wendy. Okay, so I do see a little, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just a little piece of moisture. I don't know. Okay, yeah, it was. So you see how that is nice and even? And then what we're going to do is we're going to work that down. So this is so important because if you don't go ahead and, oh yay, Wendy's back on the computer, very cool. I'm so glad you made it, Wendy. Wendy's doing this amazing portrait of these little doggies. It's so great. Really wonderful stuff. And I'm going to lower the air pressure. You know, when you lower the air pressure, guys, you're going to get a lot more control. So lower that air pressure. So you see, this is such an important step. And I want you guys to practice applying the white, you know, just on a spare piece of paper. I want you guys to do that. Let me get a better angle. There we go. There we go. And remember, if you're too light, don't worry about it. You can always go darker. The problem is trying to go light trying to go light after it's dark. But if you're too light, darkening up is no problem. So, but still, you don't want to go crazy, right? You don't want to go crazy. So you see, we're doing pretty good. Hey, Bill, how you doing? So, still not banned, huh? Have you been banned before, my friend? I can't imagine anyone banning you. You are not crazy. You are just a very talented lady there, Wendy. That's for sure. Wendy is so talented and she's so humble. She doesn't realize how talented she is. That's a good quality. You're very welcome, Wendy. I mean that. Well, it's the truth, and I just think that Wendy could pick up any medium and she's like really good at it, or you know, she's like one of those people that really get interested into something. They just kick butt with it. So I appreciate that. Okay, so you see we have a nice layer of light here. Remember, you have to wait for it to dry to actually see the white. So I'm sort of catching up this area. I got to be careful not to overdo it. That's so important. I'm going to do the white of her eyes. It's a little risky, but you know, who cares? Go for it. There we go. So you see, like even just, you know when the drawing hits home when you do something like this and you see her likeness. That's always a good feeling, isn't it, guys? But then you have those where you're like, uh-oh, this is going to be a lot of work. You know, you have those moments too. So 6 in one, half dozen the other. So right now I have like a basic structure. I can even go further with this white here. But let's go ahead and see if we can work on those hands and bring those hands forward, you know? Thongs? What happened? Oh, I got to hear this story. So, Bill, please tell. You're not going to get away with just saying thongs and that's it. So tell me. Hey, Gloria, good to see you. How are you? Alex, how's it going? Alex says, mine's mainly looking at the painting and saying, uh-oh, yeah. Hey, Alex, I have been there, done that, that's for sure. It happens to us all, no matter how long we've been painting. You do one, you're like, no, this doesn't look right. Yeah, I had those moments. I even had those moments on live stream there, Alex. So you are not alone, my friend. See, we're just going to pull those hands forward. And then we're going to go ahead and be able to go ahead and make them richer. But we just, as if we're sculpting, right? We want to make sure that we pretend we have just a slab of clay. We want to start bringing her face forward. And that's what we're doing. You want to paint and draw like a sculptor. That's what we want to do. So did you paint the thongs there, Bill, or what happened? This is pretty interesting stuff. See, this is like shock live stream. like shock talk shows. Hey Bradley, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming by. So we are in the very beginning. You didn't miss anything. I'm just going ahead and I'm applying the White India Ink, which is the Bombay White India Ink by Dr. P.H. Martin. So we are using the Velocity here. This is the Badger Velocity. I love it. Love this airbrush. I like it because it's a good all-purpose airbrush. So I like it for doing things like adding white and stuff like this and backgrounds. That's what I use this one for. So this is a good brush to have, specialty airbrush. Wendy says, Tim, you aren't streaming. Why do I have such a problem with YouTube? I'm not sure. Everyone's seeing my stream, right, guys? I think it's just you, Wendy, because... So give me a quick check. Do you guys see me? Okay, good. So I think it has to do with your connection, Wendy. That's a bummer. But just keep trying. Oh, there you go. Storms. That's going to do it. Yeah, that's not good. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some here. Oh, cool. Thanks, guys. Everyone. Wendy, Gloria says she had a problem. Bummer. Oh, man. So stick with it, guys. I know, might be some issues that are going on with you guys locally. But thanks for letting me know. If you see anything weird, just let me know, guys. So this way, it might be me. And if it's me, I'm definitely going to try and fix that ASAP. Okay. So here we are, and we're in very good shape here. We're going to continue with this hand here. YouTube is strange tonight. Oh, that stinks. I'm so sorry. But we're gonna get through this together. Let me just spray that out there. Sometimes, when you're working something with thick like white, you're gonna have to, spray it out, give it a good spray to get out anything that's in there. Bill says, been building a huge closet shelf in the studio and putting a secondary floor and subfloor today. I'm exhausted. Oh my God, that's something. Yeah, that's something that I could never do. I'm not good at that. I'm not even good at watching that. Oh my God, I admire everyone who can do that, guys. I think that's fantastic. When that gene of building stuff, I wasn't born with that gene. It skipped several generations, or just me. I know my family can do stuff like that, but I can't. I can't even put a desk together. I need help, call a priest or something. I can't put it together. Even a chair, when you have these office chairs and put it together, I get totally, beside myself. I don't know how I'm going to get through it. So I admire you guys, admire you, Billy. You can do stuff like that. Believe me, it's not I. That's for sure. Bill says, my entire studio is completely torn apart, hence why no videos since Tyrion. Oh, wow. And I'm not supposed to after I messed up. Yeah, be careful. Don't overdo, Bill, okay? My favorite, look at that. Wendy says her favorite thing is putting stuff together. Why you live so far from me, Wendy? You could help me. I could pay you with art lessons. You can put together all my stuff when I get it. See that? So now we have the hand. And can we do the hair? Yeah, we can. But I'm thinking of just keeping that separate. All right, so we have a nice shadow plane here, and we have this eraser. See this eraser line? Let's see if we can get rid of that. Like I said, you know, the white is a you-know-what when it comes to erasing it. Oh, Bradley says he builds hot rods. Now that's really amazing. Wow, Bill says she's not coming, Tim. She hasn't shown up here yet. Yeah, Wendy, that's true. And you're even a little closer, I think, Bill, to Texas than I. Let's see if we can erase this. Like I said, the white is not as erasable, but I kept it very light, so that's good. So, oh, she was supposed to come and cook and clean for lessons. Yeah, you know. Pretty funny. Okay, so we have her fingernail here. So all the dagger strokes I do, at least a half hour a day, every day, really pay off here. Before you go to any airbrush getaways or anything like that, I always tell, you know, my people, practice half a day, a half hour every day for a month. And then if you go to one of those things, you're just learning the good stuff. They're not having to teach you control. And control can't be taught. I mean, we can teach you as far as a direction, you know, like that. We definitely can give you direction. But as far as control, it's only done by experience, you know. And Paris says, don't need any getaways with you, Tim. Your master classes. Thank you. Thank you, Paris. I appreciate that. I really try to give you guys just the ability to really enjoy your airbrush. And you ask me, that's the biggest payoff, is that you guys, because I love the airbrush. It's the most amazing thing ever. And I just love using it, and I want you guys to have that same love and satisfaction from it. And that's why I do it. And Bill says, oh, Wendy says we can all get together and meet. That would be fantastic. And Bill says, I've taken 2 classes, and be honest, I was way too honest for them, way too advanced for them. Yeah, you know, and I think that if you're practiced and, you know, you guys do dagger strokes and dots and circles, I'll tell you, that is the main thing. If you master those things, and you will be absolutely surprised. Let me show you guys what I do in the course of a day. There's no exaggeration. This is what I do in the course of a day. And I'll do these circles, and the circles actually get much better with time. They really do. I mean, you honestly, these little circles, I'll tell you, they just really help you to get that control. And a control in the way that when you are doing your own artwork, you basically just instinctively know because you've been practicing the whole time. So I can't really stress that enough. And Bradley says, oh man, Willie, I have about 15 or 16. Most are projects. Everyone finished one. Oh, cool. And let's see. Bill says, Wendy says, cool. Bill says, learning art is what makes you better. Airbrush artists outside of control. Yes. So basically, control is everything and everything. Let me see if Now here's just something, I think I posted it on Facebook. These are just like real quick practices I do. I practice the circles and the triangles and hash marks and dots and do it over and over again until you get it down, right? And you are, that is the most important thing. That's going to teach you so much more than any kind of classes that you can take. And thank you, Wendy. I appreciate that. So really, really go ahead and just kick butt, guys, and just really kick butt and practice. Who is it? Michael Jordan says that, when he hits those winning shot, it was just like practice. And the same thing's going to happen with you guys is when you were working on that painting and you have to do, let's say, the perfect stroke to get the light on that fingernail. You're just going to be able to do it because it's just like practice. So more important. And I was talking to Jake earlier today, and one of the things we were discussing is how important it is to actually do small paintings. Do your epic paintings. I want you to do epic paintings. I want you to do large paintings that are in depth with backgrounds. But I want you to do quick paintings. Quick, very, they could be detailed, but small, with good lights and darks, so you can pretty much just, experiment, get a feel on how to end a painting, how to begin a painting. So you do a lot of them, and that's going to help you the most. A lot more than doing one painting a month. I would rather you do 3 paintings a week, airbrush paintings. I would like to see you do that. And let's see. So Bradley, that's my problem. I can never sell one. That comes in time, and I'm still want to do that ebook if I have time on how to sell your work, because you have to go to the collectors. You can't do your own stuff and have the collectors come to you. And that's one of the things I will talk about when it comes to selling your work, is that you have to find the niche that your work can fit in, that you can do on a constant basis, where you can have collectors, also known as customers. So that's something to really think about. Okay, so I'm really happy with this. Let me go ahead and pull this down. See that? This is all dagger strokes. All dagger strokes, fading lines. So Gloria, so right now we have this picture of Miss Gomez here, Selena Gomez. And so I did the drawing. And now what we're going to, so here it is. So there's the original. And so basically, I'm going in with the white to pull her highlights closer to us, so she's more three-dimensional from the background. And then I'm going to come in with the, the ink to come in with the darks. So the airbrush I'm using is the Renegade Velocity by Badger for this particular thing. Now, one of the things I'm going to really stress, and I've seen on the Badger community site, the Badger group, about the whole question about cleaning the airbrush. Those are great because questions like that come up, and I think it's very important. So let's see. So I'm finished with the white almost. Let me just get this here, and we're going to get some really nice, we're going to just work on some nice edge here. We want her face to come forward, so we're just going to use this freehand shield, not a stencil, guys. Stencils are a bad word here. And we are just going to get that beautiful hard edge. Isn't that beautiful, guys? I think it's beautiful. I love, see, that's the one thing that airbrush, that other mediums can't do. It cannot, so it can't compare with the hard edges. So Wendy says, very good question, how do you like the Renegade compared to the Patriot? I love the Renegade. I think it's great. I think it's great for stuff like this, for backgrounds and stuff. I think it's very versatile, and it even go in detail. But there's something about the Extreme Patriot, the Badger Extreme Patriot Arrow, that is just out of this world, that works perfect. When I say absolutely perfect, the perfect 1-2 punch in airbrushing is the Badger Patriot and the Sotar 2020 Slim. If you have those two airbrushes along with the Renegade Velocity, you are set. I mean, you are set for everything and anything. So what we're going to do is, it's very crucial to, since we have white, is to clean that white out immediately. Because white dries, and if you don't spend the time to clean it right away, you're going to pay a price, meaning it's going to be a long time before you're able to actually clean this stuff, you know. Let's see. So the Patriot has a smaller needle. Well, you can get a smaller needle. The great thing about the Patriot, and basically all of the Badgers, is that you can go ahead and get a detail needle. Now I have the detailed needle and head assembly for the Patriot Extreme, which is a 0.21. You can get, I believe, a 0.21, a 0.30, and a 0.35. But I use a Patriot with a 0.31. So yes. And Willie, what do you think of that David Bowie photo? Oh, okay. I'm not sure. You guys are having a conversation, so that's cool. So is anyone working on a David Bowie picture? That's cool. Let me go ahead and I'm going to clean out this my velocity right away. I am not waiting. That would be bad. So this is something you don't want to wait on. So even though it's going to take a few moments from the live stream, it's important to take those moments, and it's important to take the time to go ahead and clean that. I mean, it really is. It's absolutely crucial. So I just, took the needle out, cleaned it, ran some water through, and now I'm just going to put the needle back in. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some more water through that. And I'm going to give it a deep clean, but if I just let the white in there, this is something good to do. I took a gallon of milk, a gallon milk carton, and then I cut a hole here and on the top, and I put paper towels, usually ones I use, and then I could use that to spray through, and it's not going all over the place. The paper towels is basically covering it, so that's good. Don't pay money for any kind of Iwata sells something very similar for crazy amounts of money. So that is where we are with this brush. I'm going to go ahead and put it over here. So that's cool. And now we're going to get our other airbrush, which is the Extreme. Put this over here. Here we go. Now I went ahead earlier and mixed my... Now this is something new. No fumes with that. So because it's inside this, it's inside this. So a lot less fumes. The paper towels, they sort of, absorb it. So I don't know how it is if you're using, let's say acrylics. I don't know if it's as good as with ink, but test it out. Okay, so have our airbrush here. Now, I only have one cap, so I used it on the Renegade, and now I'm gonna go ahead and just clean it. One cap, and we're gonna go ahead and put in, let me show you guys. So we're gonna go ahead and we're going to put in our ink. in our Badger Extreme Patriot Arrow. Okay. All right, so yeah, the tops are interchangeable, you know, with them, which is really great. The great thing about Badger is they're not trying to fleece you, you know. A lot of the things, a lot of the parts are interchangeable, really looking out for the end user, which is us, you know. Wendy says, I'm liking Badger more and more. Yeah, it's really great. So really fantastic. So if I miss any kind of questions, please ask it again, because, you know, it's kind of hard. You know, we have a nice group, so I don't get to see everything. So, okay, so I just went ahead and loaded my Badger. Okay, this is an amendment to the early rule. Remember the early rule, I would do 3 drops of India ink to 4 drops of water, 4 full eyedroppers of water. Well, I'm finding that that is too dark. And so what I will do is I will go ahead and do 6 drops of India ink to 12 of these. And I think that's even better. Gives you more control early. Now, Bill says, do they sell the caps separate? They do. And they sell them. Let me see if I could show you, my friends. Let's see. Okay, so here we are at usaairbrush.com. And what you want to do is you go to shop and you go to airbrush accessories. And then under accessories, you will see it. So how I usually find it is I could even go to cap. Let's see if that comes up. And there it is. See right there, it's only $1.80. And that's what you want to purchase. So that is a... Is that the one? It might be. Let me see. Yeah, that's the one. It's the large color cap, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you want to... I think that's the one. That looks like it. No, that's not it. That's for the side feed. So the other one... Let me see. Airbrush accessories. Oh, I did see something here. Airbrush accessories and color caps. Let's see if this is it. Aha, that's the one, guys, right here. So that is the... Nope. So there it is. You guys can find it. Go under adapters and color caps. And I believe this is the guy. Yep, that's the one. Only $2.46. So that's the one you'll probably need. But if you have any questions, you know, always ask me. I'm happy to help out. So let's go back to the artwork. Now it even fits the, now the Sotar 2020, it fits that one. But it, of course, this one is the slim. There's no cap on that one. But why you like the slim as opposed to the one that has a color cap is because you have no obstructed view whatsoever. So it's just made for details. It's like having a mechanical pencil in your hand. So that's basically what that is about. So Wendy says the color proportions. Yes. So the color proportions that I'm using now, my augmented system, is using 6 drops of India ink to 12 full eyedroppers of water. And it's a lot lighter. It's a lot lighter, but you have more control when it's lighter, and also you want to lower your pressure. So I put my air pressure at, it was, Wendy, 3 to 3, but over working the last week, I found that it's even better control in the early going. You want to make your decisions very gingerly, and I think having that really light mixture early is actually the best. So I'm finding when I'm doing my really detailed stuff, exactly, Wendy, that's very important. The Sotar 2020, the regular one, I believe comes with the color cap. Yes, that definitely does come, because I know that the Badger the Badger Extreme Renegade. No, the Badger Extreme Patriot. The Badger Extreme Patriot Arrow. Yes, that's the one that comes with the color cup, the cap there. So you want to just go ahead and, you know, work in dagger strokes here. You do short strokes. You don't try to hit that right away, you know, that's almost impossible. So you just want to do these really short dagger strokes. There we go. What you do here, you do over here. So you don't go too far here to go over there. Do you think those proportions would work on gunmetal? Yes, this is gunmetal. So right now we're working on gunmetal, not Dreadnought Gray. So it works even better on, actually it works on both of them because I'm working on something today. Let me show you what I'm working on today. So I'll show you how this is just that mixture that I told you right here. So you see this is that mixture, which is 6 drops of India ink to 6 full eyedroppers of water. And you see how I can slowly build things up. This is about an hour into it, I would say. So it definitely works. So that's definitely a change. So it's really good that you guys catch these live streams because you'll really see, you know, the sort of the evolution of the technique, which is really cool. So like I said, we did a little bit here. Let's do a little bit on this side. We don't want both. Thank you, Wendy. So you do, oh, so you're, but now, Willie, did you get, oh, because yours didn't come with this. So perhaps it didn't. So I'm going to talk to Ken and see if maybe you didn't get it with it. Maybe they have to send you it. Definitely. Okay, so as far as gunmetal, there's a real shortage going on with it, and you know it's really hard to get. So I'm not sure exactly what's happening with that. But what I'm going to do, since that paper might not be available, I'm going to migrate over to working on boards. Until I find a paper that I'm really happy with, because if it's going to be hard to, I'm going to run out soon. And if I run out and if you guys can't get it, then I'm not going to do demonstrations on a paper that you guys can't get. So we probably will change the surface. It's not bad. I mean, it's, you know, we could work on my masonite boards, and I could, you know, you guys know how to do that, how to create masonite using, you know, the masonite board using my marble dust and gesso mixture. And it's great because you really get a real sense of control of your surface, which is much better than buying a surface and, like, you know, having a hard time finding the paper. You're not at mercy of the manufacturer. You can make your own boards. You can always get boards everywhere. So Willie said that is 105 did. Very interesting. That's really, really bizarre. So you see we're working over there and we're coming over on this side. And we're just going to work on large shapes right now. And we're going to move around. So once we did this, let's see if we could just work on a negative shape here. What I mean by negative shape is like right here. You see that? There's like a definite shape, and we're going to find that. So, you know, with airbrush control and everything, everyone wants control, and that's very important, but just the knowledge and you know, practicing drawing, you're going to see those negative shapes and you'll be able to record them, which is fantastic. So that is also very important, and you're not going to learn that too much at an airbrush getaway. That's something that you guys are responsible on your own. That's something you guys can do on your own. And let's see. And what we're going to do is we're just going to sketch right now. And you can see I'm working with this mixture and it's still kind of dark, so it's very interesting. What we do on this side, we're going to do on this side. Got to keep that symmetry. We got to keep those relationships going, guys, so we can definitely gauge what's happening. So important. And let's see. Let's go ahead. We're not painting in. We're not painting in the eyebrows. We're just painting in the value. Relative value. We're not going as dark as we want to go yet. We're just doing a relative value. We're not hitting our darkest darks. We're just sketching. If you were sketching with a pencil, you're not going to try and hit that value right away, right? So that's something that you definitely want to look for. So someone say something, a quick comment, because right now I'm not seeing any comments for a few seconds. I might have to reload it. It's a little early. It's not 10:30 yet. So further away, you'll get really nice gradation. So not necessarily pushing back less, you just sort of move further back, and then you get a much smoother gradation. So can anyone go ahead and oh, there you go. Wendy said something. Touche, Wendy. That's pretty funny. And let's just keep moving around, and we're going to continue to develop Miss Gomez here. And just those beautiful, beautiful dagger strokes. And that's what it's all about. Have you ever tried Bristol paper? Yes, I have, buddy. Funny you should say that. I have a sketch pad. Let me see. I'll show you one here. If I can find the sketch pad real quick. Of course, real quick is the optimal word here. It looks like that's not going to happen. Okay, so I did some, oh, here we are. Okay, here's something that was on Bristol, smooth. So yes, you can. I found when using this that you have to lower your air pressure really a lot. I mean, crazy amount. So let's see. There's something in here. I know there is. Did I do anything in here? Maybe I tore it out. I did. In here was a painting that I did of Martin Luther King, and it came out pretty good. And I believe it's sold. And that was in Bristol. So you can do it, but you want to lower your air pressure and really be careful, because you can get spidering really easy. So, but yeah, it's possible. Let's see. So Paris says Tim Badger has a new airbrush. Oh, Tim says Badger has a new airbrush called the Chrome. It's been around a while. Yeah, it has. It's the I believe it's the Renegade Chrome. Really good airbrush. A lot of people use it. It's very similar to the Velocity that I used earlier. I believe it has the same design. I'm going to go over the designs. There are different designs, and the design of the Extreme Patriot Arrow. There's something about this design. It's very unique, and I have to go more in depth on why this is such a fantastic airbrush and why I love it so much. Okay, so we're just going, let's go ahead and establish the dark around here. So that's always good to do. We want to bring her face forward. And we're going to do that. Remember, we want to go parallel. See that? We want to go parallel to the, yes. So basically, Buddy says, do I prefer tooth? Most definitely. most definitely, without a doubt. I wonder if I can show you one thing here. So I've shown you guys this one that I'm working on. It has a tooth, and I'm just going to darken it. But as you can see, it has a nice texture here, and with that texture, almost gives you a feeling of pores, and I really do love it. So that's why, you know, I'm going to migrate away from the paper for a while, and we're going to go work on those boards, and I'll do a video, another video just on, thank you Wendy, just on how to you know, really use the board texture for your that's masonite. That was on masonite with gesso and masonite with gesso and marble dust mixture. So these are little experiments that I did, and this is pretty much why I started this whole thing with India Ink. I did a lot of little experiments, and that's what I recommend, just doing these really quick, beautiful, quick little studies that you can just go to town with and just really see what this technique's going to do. And when you do that, thank you so much, Willie. And so, you know, just do quick ones. Do 3 quick ones a week, or 1 quick week, you know, because I know not everyone has the time factor. So do quick ones, and that's where you're going to get your learning. That's where you're going to get your experience, your chops, so to speak. And don't worry about how it comes out, you know, just go to town. So let me go ahead, and the beauty of working with a DSLR is I could change the shutter speed and just get from darker to light. Paris says those will not be quick for me. I know the feeling, but you'll get faster. Thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that. And Willie and everyone, thank you so much for those wonderful comments, encouragement. Thank you. And so you just have to really just when you do those small ones, you can just go for broke, you know. Do some experiments, and if it doesn't work out, you're out what, a 4x5 piece of paper? So it's no big deal. Do them in conjunction. Raul, thank you. I appreciate that. Paris says more like 3 quick ones in 9 months. Hey, if that's how long it takes, that's just fine, Paris. Don't worry about that. And you just, and Willie says that too. So you just want to, so look at the nice distance. I say I'm a good 4 inches away here. And I'm just doing this cast shadow that's cast from her hair onto her face here. So it's not really a form shadow. It's not, you know, turning because of the light. It's pretty much turning because of the shadow cast from the hair. And you see that? So, you know, we are really, you know, just developing. Don't be in any rush. When you're doing those quick ones that I spoke of, not in a rush. Just, you know, make your decisions. It's small. It's not going to take a long time to develop. And just have fun with it. You don't even have to show anybody. And I've done some disasters, some lemons, you know, but it's okay. It's definitely okay. You know, it's learning is most important. But do those daggers and brush those daggers and dots and fading lines and all that. The L's, the capital L's and the small L's and all that stuff is really going to go a long way to just gaining mastery of this. But then it's like, the way I teach is, you know, no stencils, you know, you'll project the image, but, you know, you'll draw it, and as you know, everything's just going to come together. Everything's just, but give yourself time, you know, and always, I give myself time. I know I'm going to get better. I know that I keep working harder, I'll get better and better, and that's, you know, we're all in the same boat, right? We're all just trying to get better, do things better than we did yesterday. There we go. So let's see. Bill says, Or let me just draw the cap and hope for the best. Exactly. Sometimes, Steve, how you doing? Good to see you. Where are these dagger strokes you're talking about? They're all over the place, Steve. Like right here, these small little dagger strokes, you know. Or if I'm doing like, you know, this tight detail of the eyes. All these little dagger strokes everywhere, Steve. They're just all around us. So right here, we're going to do this nostril. This is a series of dagger strokes. Here we go. And same here. Let's go ahead and use our freehand shield. So before we do that freehand shield, you always want to make sure that Bill says, what, a dagger stroke? You mean like Jack the Ripper? Yes, but a lot less violent. That's funny. So we're just going to come down here. I want to make sure the drawing is okay because I'm going to actually be committing with that with the ink, so I want to make sure. So we're just going to pull this down, and we are pretty close to the bottom of the nostril, but not quite. Just go right like this shape. Okay. So there I'm pretty happy with. So let's go ahead and just create this edge here. And those who know me is I never go along the, unless it's very rare that I'll need to, I'll always go perpendicular to the freehand shield. So it's the negative shapes that's getting the value here, not this part of her nostril. So it's really, you got to ask yourself, you know, what is getting the tone here? And that's really crucial. Is the edge hard or is it soft? If it's soft, then you don't got to worry about using a freehand shield because it's soft. But if it's hard, you definitely want to employ the freehand shield to take advantage of the best quality of airbrush is these really beautiful hard edges. And let's see here. There we go. So you see we're just developing and just slowly bringing things together. And as we're working, we're going to take out our eraser. Now I'm not going to do right here. I just sprayed on that, so we don't want to do that. Remember, it's going to really kick your butt if you're going to erase wet ink. Oh my God, it's disaster. Paper gets real malleable and it's just a mess. So it's 10:30 and that means we are going to have to do that thing, reauthorize the chat. So Paris says, Tim, how do you balance doing different projects in other mediums? I also work in pastels, graphite, and charcoal, and I'm learning oils. Then I still have time to practice the guitar. You know, Paris, it is just priorities, you know. For me, if it's a paid job, that's a priority. And then, you know, if it's a project, you know, I always try and figure out what is the most crucial and then do them. I have some that I haven't worked on in 6 months, but there's just been more important things to work on, you know. As far as mediums go, that's a tough question. It's like, you know, it's really which one you're in love with right now. And I think that's how I do it. You know, I also work in pastel, but I'm kind of in love with airbrush right now, so that's pretty much making my decision. So yeah, I definitely feel that. So let me go ahead and reauthorize the chat because it is 10:30. Okay, so just got to make sure that I am not broadcasting my password here. Just be one moment, guys. Okay. And then let's see. I think I'm going to see you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bam! There you guys are. Yes? Oh, okay. Someone has to say something. All right, guys. Someone type something so I know it worked. Sometimes technology is not quite there. There we go. Houston, we read you loud and clear. I love the NASA reference. Thank you, Paris. That was so cool. Steve, yes, we are here. We're still live. Thank God. So appreciate it. Willie, Wendy, Gloria. All right, we are still there. Very cool. It's like, Michelle, how you doing? ¿Cómo estás? Estoy muy contento que tú estás aquí. Oh, wow. So great. So I'm so glad that, we have such a great group today. I'm so excited. Let me fix this. There we go. Okay, make sure we don't, just show my belly. That's no good. Still a work in progress with the belly. I've been on a diet now for the past, I would say, 2 months now. And I have this goal to, be a certain weight and look by June. So far I'm on schedule, which is really great. So I'm so excited that you're here, Michelle. So cool. All right, so see, we have this going here. Let's go work on the cast shadow on this side right here. And it looks very crude right now, right? I mean, it really kind of messy. But when you're making cookies and you have the dough and you're mixing it and you're putting the eggs in, it looks messy, right? But it's all part of the process. So what I want you always to do when you're working is to really stick with the recipe. That's so important. So very, very important. So as you can see, we are working here, and let's do the side plane of her nose. This is not a cast shadow. This is the side plane. So Jake said, follow the road, not follow the toad. Spell check will kill you, right? That's it really is. Willie says that's one of the hardest things, and it really is. And the trick is to try and not be emotional about the artwork. So if it's not coming out okay, it's not coming out perfect, stick with it. Don't worry about it. Oh, when Gloria says that she loves her eyes. Thank you. Thank you so much. So you should see we're just moving around. We want to, the main thing when you're sketching is you want to create balance eventually. And that's what's important. And so that's really, really what we're looking for. We're just sketching. We're looking for balance. And so like right here, see all this here? This is, I'm thinking like all what's going on here. So we have her, we have this picture of her, and let me go ahead and lower it, and then you can see what I'm alluding to. So like right over here, we're gonna just do the magic of DSLR. We're just gonna show you exactly what I mean. See, like right here is this highlight here, and then we have some real subtle changes here. That is going to be done with pastel at the end. So you want to think that way. You want to really say to yourselves, okay, I'm going to think about this. I know this is going to be later because it's such a subtle change. I'm not going to go ahead and do it with this. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to be able to hit that beautifully with the pastel in like day 4, day 3 of this lesson. So that is basically what, I want your thinking to be that. I want you to really start thinking several moves ahead. And Buddy says it's really coming alive. Thank you. Appreciate that. Little by little, guys. And so, we have some little subtleties over here. We can go ahead and put that in. Some little subtleties. that we can actually put in now. And that's, everything is looking really dark, but it's actually very light. When we go ahead and start deepening values, that's when you're going to start seeing things. Everything else is going to deepen around it. So always have patience with that. And Paris says, is it okay for me to wish everyone a happy Easter on your channel? Of course. Yes, definitely. Happy Easter, happy Passover. Definitely, Paris. I appreciate that. I want everyone to be themselves here. You know, it's so important. Everyone is so cool. Everyone is accepted. You know, it's all about fun. You don't even have to be an artist. You know, you just have to want to hang out and have fun talking to good people like yourself. You know, that's what it's all about. That's what I want my channel to be anyway. So I have my freehand shield, which I couldn't find. This keeps moving over. Okay, there we go. So which is very cool. So yes, happy Easter, guys. It's really neat. Anyone getting any Easter baskets or anything like that, or chocolate? I don't think anyone's ever too old for an Easter basket. Why should kids have all the fun? By themselves. They should have fun, but not all the fun. Not fun that we can enjoy as well, right? So, okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to work on this dark area right here. And I think that's going to be really... So we want to push things forward, push things back, and we want to get those relationships. Wendy's saying, stay away from candy. Oh, yeah, you and me both. I wrestled with some cookies yesterday, and I almost ate them, but I didn't, which I feel good about. Ended up having an apple, which was fantastic. Paris says, I like Reese's Cups, Kit Kat, Snickers. Oh, man. No, definitely not. Definitely don't leave, Willie. That's for sure. And, you know, what about Three Musketeers? That's kind of a weakness of mine. Those things are amazing. You know, Michelle, Feliz Pascuas de Resurrection. Happy Easter. Igualmente, Michelle. Michelle is from Mexico. Isn't that the coolest? So I'm so happy she's here. We have an international live stream today. I believe, who is from Canada? Canada. Someone's from Canada. I don't know who it is. I think Bradley's from Canada, right? Yes, I think Bradley's from Canada. And Willie is not from Canada. And then no apples, Gloria says. Apples are the best. But yeah, so, you know, but they're not as good as candy, so I definitely agree. As you see how I'm just using my freehand shield to... Yes, Bradley is. Trump is from Canada. Is he? That's funny, Steve. I don't know. I think he's from Jersey or something like that, or New York. I love Canada. I want to visit it real soon. So you guys been to Canada? Who's been to Canada here? Bradley is from Arkansas. Norm is from Canada? I keep making that distinction. And you know, I love my Canadian ink flingers. I just forget who you guys are. And so Paris says, Tim, love that you are at least bilingual. I speak some Spanish, stationed in Spain 3.5 years, learning from some French. Oh, so great. Es muy impresionante. Sí, es muy importante para hablar más lenguas. Entonces, se puede hacer más amigos y amigas. So, Steve says he lets all the geese in from Canada. Yes. And Willie says, I went once just for work. How'd you like it? Was it nice? Spain must have been incredible, huh, Paris? Where in Spain? Barcelona? And then we're going to Pero, I mean, actually, Michelle is helping me with my Spanish. She's my good friend and Spanish teacher. So she's helping me. She's very kind to me, which I appreciate so much. Oh, we, Tim, just outside of Madrid. Oh, great. So cool. So exciting. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just really great to. This keeps moving. So weird. I don't know why that's moving. Okay, so we're just going to continue working on these hands here, just pulling them forward. This is going to become very dark, but we're just establishing them. Remember, always go parallel to the freehand shield. With a freehand shield, you just learn how to manipulate it, how to move it, and just all the different angles that you can get. It's really cool. Even something like this, you wouldn't think something like this you can get really good straight edges, but you can. So let's go ahead and move this over here. And Michelle, thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias. And we're just going to pull this over here. Okay, here and there. Okay, so you see we're establishing those darks, and we're going to go ahead and establish the outer contour here as well. So Willie says, I don't get to see anything, maybe next time. So you didn't get to see anything because you were working, of course, definitely. I can see that. So yeah, that's the hard part of going on business, is that you're doing mostly business. Too bad. Well, next time, hopefully you'll be able to stick around a while and maybe get to see some of the sights and the culture. And like I said, at this stage of the game, we're just sketching as if you just, had a pencil and you're just sketching. That's exactly, after all, this method that I'm working just came from the sketches I used to do on the train back and forth to work in pencil when I was working at Amazon for 10 years. There we go. So you see, we're really establishing that hard edge. And of course, this is hair, but we're going to work on that later, which is really cool. So it's amazing with the live stream, guys, like how I'm able to do all of these, like do these live streams with just me, technical support and sound and camera work and everything. But it's just time is your best teacher, right? Oh, so Bradley asked, what did I do at Amazon? I was bilingual customer service. So I basically helped out the Spanish customers, Spanish-speaking customers, as well as English-speaking customers. And it was great. I really enjoyed it. No, it wasn't great. Actually, a lot of it sucked. I wasn't painting, and, sometimes people would tell you when you can go to the bathroom. So, yeah, I mean, it really wasn't that great. The people were nice, but that's about it. If I'm not painting, I'm not happy, Bradley, and I'm sure you guys are the same way. So Paris says, drawing hands is so difficult. My David Bowie picture has his hands in it. Yes, it's so important, Hands are very expressive. And Willie says, I'm amazing. Thank you. You're amazing too, Willie. I appreciate that more than you know, my friend. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I'm honored that you would say that. Thank you. And so, and that's where this whole method came from, one of those little drawings. Those little drawings just come together. There's a nice dark here, and I'm just going to get a nice hard edge. See that? It's a beautiful hard edge, and we'll work on that later. But we're just creating these really nice, like big, as if we were working with a big fat pencil, right? Or a big piece of charcoal, and we're just moving around, getting the edges, and working on value relationships, not the exact value. There's a big difference between value relationships and the value. Big difference with that. Two things I want to share with you guys, which is really important, is two things I'll tell you about air pressure. I'm going to show you that later, which is, you're going to love it. It's a really good tactic. And so Steve says, boom, Tim, well said, stay true to your heart. Yes, you have to. And you know, sometimes staying true to your heart will get you in trouble for a little while, but in the long run, you're going to be okay. So, you know, someone asked me how my job was when I was at Amazon. I'll say it was a lot of fun, but it also sucked a lot. And, you know, and that's okay, you know. I mean, I'm honest, and, you know, sometimes that happens. Not everything's going to be perfect, right? And so we're just going to continue working on these edges. See this thumb here? I want that to come forward. So once you start establishing the edges like you're doing here, pretty much those edges are going to stay there for the rest of the painting, which is really great. Wipe the stencil, wipe the freehand shield, because you don't want to just transport the ink from the stencil or the freehand shield. I keep saying stencil, it's not a stencil. Onto your surface, because that would be a mess, and you would have to work a long time to fix that mess. So we are doing really well right now as far as time. I think we are, which is really fantastic. So here we are. Now let's go ahead and see if I could talk about some of the things that I did find out by using air pressure and different air pressures. So with this exercise, I'm just going to show you different things you can do. So here we are. Let's blow this up a little bit. So it's not just, you know, whether you can do, you know, fine lines. But if you have, let's say, a higher air pressure, and you're working, you see you have your spidering, but then you realize that if you go in a different direction, you won't have a spidering. Sometimes going in one direction, you'll get a spidering, and in another direction, you just won't. And that's weird, but it does happen. So, you know, like right here, you'll see there's no spidering, but going in this direction there might be. So that's something you really want to really practice, like what direction is best for straight lines. So if you practice this when you are, you know, before you do your own artwork, then you'll realize if you want to do like a really tight detail, you know what direction will be best for that straight line. See, so you could see here we have spidering, but maybe if we go in this direction we won't have spidering, not as much. Another thing which I found out is, which is really interesting, and I think you guys would really enjoy this, is you ever see in a painting where there are creases, or in this case you'll see like veins, and you're wondering, like, I was always wondering, what is the quality of veins that makes it look like a vein? Is it the value? No, because you can do a value and it would still not translate. So, you know, over the course of the week, I found out when you have inner creases, you have your contours, you know, you have this contour. This is an outer contour, right? Which is an outer line. But then you have these inner contours, these inner lines, which are very important. So what I find is to make them look like a contour, what really makes it look like a contour as opposed to a line is that the edges are soft on both sides. So it's, let me see if I could. The edges are soft on both sides of the contour. You see this? The edges are soft on both sides. You see how the edges are hard here. That doesn't look like an inner crease. And also, if I was to do this and just have an abrupt, it wouldn't look so much. But what if I have that same thing and I'm doing an inner contour and I make it soft, and then, you know, and I just sort of build it up, but make it soft, and you see that looks a lot more like that vein right here. You see, it's that it has that quality. It's soft on both sides, but also it's soft where it starts and where it stops. So those are two things that I wanted to talk to you about, because I think that a lot of people, when a lot of artists, when they're painting like inner creases, especially like for instance like a lip here. Let's see if I can do that for you real quick. Put myself on the spot here. Okay, let's do that. So, all right, so here we are. We have our lip, and we're just going to very quickly, we're going to paint the upper lip. We're going to paint the lower lip. Just like that, right? So then we're going to have this edge here as it comes in. Same thing here is we're going to have this edge here, and then it comes in. See, these only work is because they're soft on all sides, and that's what's really important. And then over here, we are going to work on the crease between the upper and lower lips. Now I can't see your comments because I'm really concentrating on this, so if you ask a question, just ask it again. See that? That's only working because of how soft it is, not only on each side, but also from top to bottom. Now, if we were to, you know, really start to make this three-dimensional, right? We're making that lip three-dimensional. Let's see if I can lighten it a bit. Okay. Now, let's say if we wanted to make sure that the air pressure is working. And I want to do some of those really soft. You ever see those really soft creases in the lip? If we were going to do that, it would only work if they're really soft. You see? So the creases only work if we keep it extremely soft. And then we can do stuff like taking our eraser and, you know, really making them smaller. But like I say, the secret to this is to make sure that those inner contours are soft on all angles. And that's what's really going to make a difference. So I really hope that helps. So that's something I wanted to share with you guys. And right, so you know where you have the veins, you know, where you have a dark, there's always going to be a corresponding light, right? Where you have a dark accent, there's going to be a corresponding light accent somewhere. So here you have the vein and you have that shadow. So it's going to be a little bit lighter where it's facing the light most. So that's why you're going to see it come out. And then after you have that light facing, there's going to be a corresponding dark. So that's where you get that vein to turn, which is very important. So I hope that really helps. That was just something I was thinking about while working during the week that I think you guys would really, really enjoy. So remember, it's not just, the outer contours and the hard edges, but know that when you're doing inner contours, it has to be really soft. Like let's say a contour in the finger there. That has to be soft. So that's something really to be looking out for. So cool. So if you guys ask a question, please answer it again. Veins are like folds in drapery. Yes. Gloria says, sexy lips. So cool. Thank you. And wow, that's amazing. Paris says, it looks like Angelina Jolie lips. That's funny. Yeah, so, it's really an evolution to really find how to get those subtleties. But once we try and hack into it, what makes those, when, the advanced airbrush artists, when they're doing those lips, why is it looking like the creases and not looking like lines? And that's what we want to do. We want to hack into what they're doing. So, all right. So now we have the fingers, and let's start molding these hands a little bit. And what we're going to do is we are going to hit some of these sort of cast shadows. From one finger to the next, there's a cast shadow. Remember, perpendicular. See that? Perpendicular, not parallel. More control when you're perpendicular than you are parallel, which is very important. Best to always error to less than too much. So true, Steve. It is so true. You can always add, but taking away is always more difficult in airbrush especially. Because the whole premise of airbrush is that it's just so subtle. So if you make a mistake, then you're losing a lot of that subtlety. So it's always important to go light and tread lightly, and then when you're sure, you can be a lot more decisive. See, we're just developing these hands here. And just some of these like real hard creases. So right here we see we have this finger, which is her pinky, and it's in front of this hand here. And what makes it stand out is the hard edge. So we're just going to translate that hard edge there. Same thing here. This finger stands out from the index finger because of the contour and the index finger being darker. So it's not always the finger itself or the object itself that makes it stand out, but what's behind it. And to show the value difference of what's behind it, even the detail of what's behind it, is actually going to help. Steve says, thin to win, Tim. Yes, that is so true. Buddy, I have been working on clothing in folds. Very cool. Best always to error. Yes, so definitely. Let's see here. Like I said, anyone ask any questions or funny comment, please say it again, because I missed it working on that demonstration. Let's see here. Okay, so right here we have some really, really harsh darks here. And we're just going to push that forward. And so Wendy, oh, they are Art Tool shields. I made some, but you have to file them if you're going to cut them. Oh, so now Paris says, Tim, is there any way you could download a copy of your freehand shield so we can make one our own? Actually, these were given to me as a gift, so I would not be able to furnish that. I'm so sorry about that. Right here, looks like I did something, but I'm going to fix that with pastel. I don't know how that happened. It could have been transferred, but that's something I'm not going to worry about, and I'm going to take care of that in the later stages there. So if I went ahead and got all nervous and just kept at it, I could really damage it some more. So the best thing is to just leave it alone. But I'll just show you one of the ways that you can actually fix something like that is just with the white pastel. Remember guys, I've been a pastel painter for 30 years. See that? And you could basically get rid of that with the white pastel. So yeah, it's very easy to you know, fix problems as they happen. You just have to make sure you don't get emotional about it. Step back, think about, you know, how you can fix it best. I think that would be the best. So this is basically a small version that a friend made for me. This is, you can buy this one in big form. It's much bigger, but I like them small like this because you know, you don't need them big, you know. So yeah, so definitely if you're gonna make these, I would just make reproductions of this, you know, make them small like this, Paris, and it'll be much better. And let's go ahead and, so you notice I'm moving around a lot, so I'm just keeping things going, but looking for large shapes. But what my goal is initially is to my thing is initially is to gain a full value study, and then I could go ahead and start developing it as a whole and not in pieces. You don't, it's very tempting to say, you know what, I'm just going to paint that eye so perfect and I'm going to paint the other eye and do that, but you're not, it's tempting, but you're not going to have a unified image. You're not going to get your own style that way. You're just going to reproduce exactly what you're seeing. That might be what you're looking for, and so be it, but that's not what I'm looking for. That's not what I teach. I want you to have your own style within realism. One of the things also I was talking about is my teacher Harvey Dinnerstein at the National Academy. He said to me years ago that you want to accentuate what makes that person an individual. So accentuate their unique characteristics. And by doing that, there you're going to find your style, and you're going to find something a little bit deeper on who that person is. If you look at Rembrandt's portraits, for that matter, there's something special about Rembrandt's portraits. They're not photorealism by any means, but they're just really fantastic character studies. Even his most finished paintings. Paris says, Willie, it almost looks like Art Tool pinup shield on Amazon. It is. It's a reproduction of a small one, which is really cool. So let me see if I can go and show you guys real fast over here. I know I can do different websites, so okay, so I think I have to pretty much stick to the websites. Let me see if I can do it, because I want to show you guys a Rembrandt if I have it here. Okay, we can do it here. I just have to pull it up. So we're just going to go with an image, and I do have a Rembrandt here. Now this is just a sketch by Rembrandt, and I think it's really good to see that, you know, so you see this is a quick sketch by Rembrandt, and he's not looking for realism. He's being inspired by reality, but he's still abbreviating everything. And this is no less beautiful than if he really did every single pore and every single line and crease. And that's what I really want to teach is I want to teach the fact that when we are working in realism, we're not just going to be exact copiers of nature, but we are going to say something about nature, say something about the images we're painting. And I do have a drawing by Angra here. See here, this is a drawing by Angra, and you can see this is by far not a exact replica of what he sees, but just an abbreviation. What I loved about Angra, what he did, was that if you see a lot of his drawings, that the clothes are just sort of this shorthand, which is really beautiful. And I think that's great. I think it's great to have shorthand and to just put the essence of things. So, that's some of the things I teach my students is not just to go ahead and be copiers of nature, but to be somebody who is, someone who's consulting nature and someone who is actually being affected by nature and doing something like that. So even though we're using airbrush, we're still sort of we're thinking like a photorealist at times, but we're also thinking about what can we say about this one person? What makes Selena Gomez? Is her lips full? Maybe we can make them a little bit fuller. Maybe we can go ahead and, emphasize, the upper lip, or maybe we could emphasize the eyes, maybe make them a little bit bigger, just some things that we can do just to make it a little more our own. So that's just my thinking, and I hope that helps. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And let's see. All right, cool. So Buddy says Radu Vero suggests using clear plastic sheets. You will still need to smooth the edges. Okay, so that's cool. Different ideas for freehand shields. So anyway, that's basically my lesson on creating artwork that is a little more of a commentary as copying. And remember that if you go to Barnes & Noble or any bookstore, the artists that are going to have the most books written about them are the ones who did things their own way eventually. No, I do agree. In the early goings, you have to, study with your teacher, and you have to get as much information as you can. But there's a time when you leave that school, you're going to see things your own way and explore, and that's where things really get good. That was a hard time for me when I started doing my own thing. I studied with Harvey Dinnerstein. He was my mentor at the National Academy School of Fine Arts, very famous artist, one of the most sought-after teachers in New York. And I was in his studio for over 3 years. And when I left his studio and started doing things my own way, I was like really nervous. I was like, oh my God, I feel like an apostate, I feel like I'm betraying my teacher. But, I got over that and said, who am I painting for? I'm painting for myself, and even though I admire my teacher greatly and my style was basically the same as him when I was at the National Academy, eventually I did go my own route. Nothing I like more is when my students go and do their own thing, that their work looks different than mine. And I like it when they do that, outside of the studio, of course. If I'm teaching, then I would want them to listen to me and go my way because I'm teaching and they're at that level, right? So that's important. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work on the value here. Now there's a hard edge here. I believe that hard edge is because there is a shirt or something here. So we're just going to do, remember, perpendicular. We're going to get that hard edge right here. And then we're going to make sure we get that edge right here. And I believe that's our sternocleidomastoid. So there's a lot to do here, but we're just going to do some value here. We're going to separate the hair from the background. Now, going ahead and doing the whole, getting everything done is so important, like I said, because then we can go ahead and start working on relationships, value relationships, and start building things together. So Paris, I have to check out that website. Very cool. And as you can see in this very early going, things are loose. We're just hitting values. We're not getting too involved just yet. We want to turn that forehead because it's turning this way, right? So we want to start that turning. Same thing here, where we're turning her cheek as it comes towards us. So it's going like this. So we want to have that turn. Always ask yourself, what's happening in three-dimensional space? What's causing these darks? Why is it darker? All that stuff is very important. So that is really crucial. Paris says, I try to study the classical style of drawing. Very thankful. Oh, cool. You're welcome. You're welcome. Drawing is everything. Without a firm grasp of drawing, airbrush paintings are not going to look good. So it's always important to make drawing your most important of all the skills, whether you're oil painting or anything. Drawing is everything. See these little dagger strokes here? See that? Little dagger strokes. I'm not trying to hit that line immediately in one shot, right? So I'm doing these little dagger strokes. But I am drawing as I am doing the airbrush as if I have, whoops, dropped my shield, as if I have a mechanical pencil. So that's basically what you need to do, you know. So there we go. And then over here, there. Little by little, you know. Oh, Gloria says, good night, everybody. My cell is at 3%. It's always good to see you. Thank you so much. Gloria is my neighbor. She lives directly downstairs from me. So I will see you tomorrow, Gloria. Hopefully my compressor won't keep her awake. She lives that close. I'm not the best neighbor, I don't think. Oh my God, so funny. But she's so kind and so cool. Love Gloria. She makes the most amazing food ever. She is just unbelievable. When on my cheat days, I'm going to go and visit Gloria because she makes the best food. Unbelievable stuff. Very talented. Okay, so you see, we're not really worried whether or not it looks like her yet. Paris says, just amazes me how fast you render a portrait, Tim. Thank you so much, Paris. So far to go, you know. Buddy says, hi, your compressor doesn't seem to run more than once an hour. I have a 5-gallon. And you know what really helps, buddy, is that I'm a very low pressure kind of guy. 25 psi, and I lower it with this Mac valve. So my compressor goes off a lot less than you'll see like those airbrush artists, those t-shirt artists, right? They go in at high psi, and so that goes off really fast. So yeah, it's true. I eventually want to get one of those silent air compressors, and I know Gaston, who's part of our Ink Flingers group, he actually made one. So one of these days, when I feel brave, I'm going to ask him to help me make one. So right now I'm getting brave with, so look at the detail I can get here, guys. Isn't this amazing? This airbrush here. If you want a detailed airbrush, you don't have to look any further than this airbrush right here. So Buddy says, I need a bigger tank. I have an old Super Silent 30. So how many gallons is that one? Remember the inner contour here? It only works if it's soft edged on all sides. And that's what we're doing here. See that? It only works being soft edged. If I was hard edged. Now, this is the caveat, right? This is the scary thing. I'm going to lower the... So let's say if I was to go ahead and do that really hard edge like this. And that would be too dark and too hard, and it just wouldn't look right. So that's why, that one lesson I said earlier, how to keep the edges soft on, not only on one side to the other side, but both sides up and down as well. Raul says it's easy to build, just need the parts. Wow, Raul, I'm definitely going to also ask for your consultation too. So that's what I want to do. So we'll talk and ask, where can I get the parts? Because, I would love to have a compressor that's so quiet that, even if you're in the same room, no one can hear it, Because I airbrush all the time. I do like maybe 8 to 10 hours a day. Because I do sell my work, and I do my own pieces, and I practice, at least a half hour a day. I'm doing dagger strokes, dots, and fading lines. So I am like an airbrushaholic, right? I mean, I do it almost compulsory. Compulsory. Wow, that's a big word. Compulsory. So that's cool. Oh, a 1/3 gallon. Now that's really small. Yeah, so that thing's going off a lot, huh, buddy? I can imagine. So you see how now we're going to go ahead and do this over here. And you want to make sure that when you do something that tight that you make sure there's no ink or paint on the tip. Do a test. So you just have this amazing control. And you can just move away a little bit, and then you can make that nice and soft. Same thing here. Okay, so this is interesting. So you have this lip here, and the upper lip has a shadow right here. And, how are we going to do that? And we got to ask ourselves with this. So let's go ahead and ask ourselves a question. So I'm going to go get the photo, and I'm going to talk about something I think is going to really help you guys when you're doing something similar on your own here. So we're going to go to Images and Pictures. We're going to look for Selena. Where are you, Selena? Here you are. Okay, so here's our reference, right? So we're going to put our reference right over here, which is right next to this. So you can see how far we have to go, how crude things are. But if you look here, you'll see the upper lip, right? Now, on her upper lip, I'll even see if I can go even closer. Oh, that's about as close as I can get. On the upper lip here, which is corresponding to right here, that if I want to do the shadow of the upper lip, I know I have to put a freehand shield over her teeth and then go ahead and do light on, you know, very light and soft edge. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're just going to put her here. So we're really concentrating, you know, we're really thinking about how we're going to approach this. See that? So we are thinking like a chess player. And we'll get more succinct later. But her teeth are a lot lighter than the contour or the edge of her upper lip. And also, this is a way we're going to turn that lip here. There we go. And of course, this is going to look really dark because we haven't put our darkest dark. So this is like a mid-tone, but it's going to look really dark. So, but we're not going to worry. And then we're going to darken this part of her mouth here. And we're also going to darken her teeth a little bit. Just a little bit. We're not going to get too involved. It's a detail. We're going to come back in later. There we go. So right now, so this is where we are. And let me go ahead and get rid of this picture. Okay, we'll just put that over here. We'll make her small. There we go. Put her over there. So that's basically it. And so let's see, Raul, should you make a video on how to make the compressor? Wow, that sounds pretty cool. Raul says you should make a video, and Jake is laughing, and Buddy says, yeah, Raul, with a large tank. Oh my goodness. Raul says, I found a bunch of them on YouTube. My tip would be to buy a refrigerator compressor that's about 1/3 to 1/2 horsepower. Can you get them like at a, you know, at, like let's say someone's drawing one out. Is that something you can possibly pull the compressor from there? So I'm using my eraser here just to shape the detail on this upper lip. And then what I'm going to do is, I got a little overzealous on the teeth. Just lighten that up a bit. There we go. And of course, lighten this up. There we go. And we don't need to be exact. We're going to come in and put detail there. But basically, we're just establishing value here. Now, same thing over here. We want to hit some detail here. Some value here on her lip to make that lip turn. There we go. And also, let's go ahead and see if we can just very lightly create separation of that upper lip from her fulcrum area here. There we go. There's basically no delineation. We would see it as people of a delineation from light to dark with the lip, but there really isn't. It's very faint. So there's no line there. So how that's really going to come up is when we go ahead with the white pastel that lip's really going to go forward because of the highlight that's going to be here. So silent air compressors are too expensive. It's so true. Paris says, Tim, watching you is like watching playing chess with a master. You are so many moves ahead of me. It's so true. I'm a big chess player, and I have my technique as a chess player. You know, it's like your opening is, you know, a chess player knows their first, you know, 8 to 9 opening moves. And that's exactly everything that I do is in anticipation of what's coming next, or what's coming next way down the line. So as you can see here, we are doing pretty good. I mean, not bad for the first day. I think we're in really good shape. We're going to work on some detail here and there, you know. Wendy says, I looked into getting a small compressor for my Maytag drink box and it was over $300. Raul says, absolutely, Tim, but the average refrigerator compressor are 1/5 to 1/4 horsepower, and that just means it takes longer to fill, but it's silent. That's interesting. So I guess if we have a large tank, we can fill that up and, you know, take a little break when it's filling up. I mean, I would do that for silence, definitely. The silent air compressors start at like 400. I've seen them, good ones that are decent, that, you know, $800 easy. Yeah, $800 seems to be the average price that I've seen. Raul might have better deals, but I've seen that they were just unapproachable for me, at least at this stage in my game. So this is so we're getting pretty close to the end of our live stream here, which is really good. Let's see. So, you know, little things like here, you know, like I erased here, it's a little bit lighter. Don't get involved in the little details just yet. Everything is very sketchy, and we're just going to stay sketchy. And we're not going to worry about any weird details, any weird aberrations or anything. This is a little bit darker than here. Don't worry about it. Now we're going to start moving along. You know, we're always going to keep, you always want to keep the focus 1 or 2 steps ahead of everything else. Our focus is Selena's eyes. So that's always going to be 1 step ahead. So that means once we get here, when we come back on next Wednesday, we're going to go back into the eyes, catch everything up, go back into the eyes. And Willie says, as always, thank you so much, Tim. Thank you, Willie. It's always great to see you. Always a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you guys every week. This is great. And so what does Paris says, Wendy, check out California Air Tools on Amazon. Yes, I have a California Air Tools. You don't hear it too much. It's behind closet, but not too bad. And so that's really neat. And Michelle, I'm so glad Michelle came all the way from Mexico. So great. And we have Paris and Buddy came, and Raul and Wendy and Willie and Jacob. And if I forget anyone, Bradley was here. So I really enjoyed that. Of course, Gloria was here, which was fantastic. And those who haven't typed anything in, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon, guys. If you hit that bell icon, you guys will be alerted for the next live stream, even though I'm going to go ahead and take care of you and email you and put it on Facebook so you all see it. So let's go here. So guys, so this was a lot of fun. It always goes by so fast, you know, like 30 minutes. I mean, 30 minutes. It feels like 30 minutes. It's 2 hours. I can't imagine doing a half-hour live stream. It would be ridiculous. But I hope you guys have the best week. Thank you so much for spending time with me. It is so much fun. Take care. I love yous all. Bye-bye, guys.